You gotta play. You heard Shlomo Katz the remix?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's the best.
Rabbi, you're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute, Jack.
Cover Bezrat Hashem, the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh. I hope everyone's doing
We missed the
well.
whole song.
5 days, Nigun Rikud.
We missed it.
What do you mean?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Oh.
From the beginning.
Jack,
Chiddush.
there's another
Rabbeinu
song.
says, Bimis Chadish.
All right, a little bit is also good. Ami, what do you say?
There's another song someone put out with Shlomo Katz called one second. This is it's called the Unity Niggin.
Whoa, did it just come out?
Yeah, it's someone I can't pronounce his last name because he's from Poland, but I'll send it to you later. It's called Niggin of Unity.
Wow, I gotta get it. Oh, Kalali's on. All right, here we go. Kalali's on.
Reb, I tried joining on my phone, but it wasn't downloading Zoom properly.
No, the Rosh Hashiva's on. We're all good. So this is very, very applicable what we're about to learn to Kalali and really to all of us. Baruch Hashem, ascending to Israel today, and Tefillah B'Shem Kol Yisrael for Pesach, for Reuben ben Yosef Asar Bakabas Yehudis, Yonah Bas Pasa, Shir Bas Pasa, Sinai Reuben ben Mani, and every neshama in Klal Yisrael. So grant us holy wisdom and intelligence, and let us always see the things in the light of the holy wisdom they contain, and so attach ourselves to you through everything in the world, and let us understand the constant messages and signals you send to us to come closer to you, Bezrat Hashem. Chavra halacha l'maisa. Halacha l'maisa. This is big. Halachos for Rosh Hashanah. At the conclusion of Shemona Esrei, some conclude the final blessing with Baruch Atah Hashem, Oseh HaShalom, which means who makes peace, while some do not change, but recite the regular conclusion, which is Oseh HaShalom B'Mermav. So so some conclude with the final blessing with Baruch Atah Yisrael B'Shalom and Oseh HaShalom B'Mermav. Or maybe I said that wrong. Yeah. Okay. Zrat Hashem. Halacha l'maisa. Halacha l'maisa. No footnotes there. This shot, amazing. However, Sichot 85. Sichot 85. This is a big one, and it's so funny how Hashem does this because it's Sunday, and we're flying today, and Rabbi Nachman talks about the reason for traveling. Very, very, very much applicable to all of us. So Rabbi Nachman starts off with this, Sichot 85, on page 262 in the Soul, and Ami has it in front of him. A man once asked the Rebbe whether he should undertake a particular journey. All right, so we're in story mode, Chava. We're in story mode. Let's open up our hearts and the whole thing. The Rebbe answered that if you have a need to travel, you should not remain at home and stubbornly refuse to go. Wherever you travel, there are things you must correct. You must be careful not to sin while you are there. If you do not sin, you can correct things wherever you travel. Even if you are an average person, you will do so. You'll do holy things in each place. You will pray, say blessing over food, and many similar things. Even the lowliest Jew does holy things wherever he goes. Each person is destined from on high to be in a particular place at a given time. Right, I love this line. Max Berger and I were discussing this once upon a time, and it's wherever we are, it's where we need to be. Wherever we are is where we need to be. So we could be anywhere on any street at any given time. It's where we need to be. But what do we do at that moment? At that time and place, there is something that he specifically must correct. When you have an occasion to travel, It is for your own good. If you would not make the journey voluntarily, you might be forced to go in chains. The Gemara teaches Yaakov would have had come to Egypt in chains, but was saved by his merit. This is in Shabbos 89b. This is true of every person. If you find it necessary to travel, it is a favor from on high. Otherwise, you might have to make the journey in chains. There's definitely some hidden messages there with the chains. Maybe you guys know the answers to that. The Rebbe told this to an ordinary person because even the average person, like we said before, accomplishes great things wherever he may go as long as he does not sin in any way. The secret meaning of this teaching is alluded to in the Pri Eitz Chaim, Shar Kriya Shema, concerning the intentions one must have when recalling the Exodus. However, this is a huge sikha. And Rabbeinu, wasn't just talking about business trips, but he was talking about regular trips as well, right? I know some of you, and myself included, going outside of their living spaces and going to other places, traveling for multiple weeks, right? And Rabbeinu was talking about those travels as well, those journeys as well, right? And the amount of time you're going for, you may be questioning, wait, did I make the right decision? But he's saying there's something that needs to be corrected, and you're there for that correction. But on top of that, like we'll see here, Rabbeinu says if a person sees that there's a trip in store for him, and he has to leave home and go to a certain distance, he should not fight against it. This is like what we're talking about, whether going voluntarily, which is a positive up on high, or going with chains. You're going to go anyways. But are we going with a locked mindset, or are we going with freedom? This is Ravari Rosenfeld speaking. The fact that he's being sent to that spot is hashgacha, an act of heaven. He must go to something to correct his own neshama or to help the souls of others. And you might be thinking, who am I to correct these souls? I'm such a lowly person, right? Isn't that only for the tzaddikim? Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and this is the biggest Torah ever. You guys ready for this? And then we'll open it up. Just as one who searches for a valuable treasure buried deep within the earth does so with great effort and struggle, so one must expend great energy in searching for the treasure of godliness that is hidden deep within the soul. And that goes for the places that you're traveling to, and that goes for our own neshama as well, our own soul as well. Going on a vacation, going on a trip for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, we'll find out more about ourselves. Saying a bracha in that place is different than saying a bracha in the place that we're living most of the year. So, however, we should be aware of this. We should open our eyes, embrace, accept, and travel without chains, travel with freedom, travel with an open mind and an open heart. And Bezrat Hashem, expend great effort into the people that we're going to be surrounded by, but also ourselves. The Kavod Shabbos, 99 days until Hanukkah, Chevra. 99 days. Questions, comments, please feel free.
So strong, Rabbi Jack. So good to see you, the master of consistency. It's crazy, though, that you're talking about the idea of each person having their time. Just a few moments ago, going through one of the holiest books known as Living in the Presence. I'm sure we all know. You saw that I actually was just reading it. I'm not lying. And it was the page I was reading. It was exactly that idea. And the way it was explaining it, was going through very Kabbalistic ideas that we can't go into at the moment for my lack of understanding. But, speaking about how there's an element of time in the world, there's an element of place, and there's an element of soul. And it was going through saying, each time has its place, each place has its time, and each soul has its place and time. But what does it mean? What does it mean on a real level? Talking about that, we say the sentence, I think from Pirkei Avot, it says there's no soul that doesn't have its hour. Every person has their hour. And like a lot of people think that this means, like one of the Rebbe's, Lahavdil, Eminem said, like there's a moment, and in that one moment you have to capture it and don't let it slip. But as the Rebbe from Living in the Presence, from Epstein, was actually explaining, this is the biggest line in all of Shas, not even in Shas. But he says that every person has their hour. Which hour is that? It's the hour we're in right now. And every hour that we live, that is a person's hour, but it's exactly like what you said. Every person, we're always yearning for something. A person goes through life and they're yearning for some completeness that they don't feel like they're always getting. We're yearning sometimes to feel completed, but sometimes to complete. And he said that, we're always looking for something external, like to come and change our lives, a life-changing moment, which we know Rav Yair doesn't believe in. Only life chancing. Things only come and give you a chance to change your life. Well, that's all we can even hope for, but the idea that the hour is every place you go, every minute that you're living in is exactly the place and time you were sent to affect in some way. It says it might just be being there is the way Hashem wanted you to affect it. But the whole idea, of course, from the title of the book, living in the presence, obviously the presence of Hashem, but the present moment, being able to realize that every single hour that we're in, every single place, no matter how seemingly impossible or wrong it might seem, is exactly the place and time that Hashem sent us to complete everyone that's around us, and through that have the completion in ourselves as well. The cover Shabbos in Israel. Wave the flag.
Unbelievable. Wait, there's too much light going on in that screen between you, Kalali, and the flag.
Can I expand on that?
Yeah, of course.
It's a similar theme. It's not the exact same theme about like presence, like who you are. And it happens to be that I'm in TVA, and this is where it happened, not in this building, but in the old building, where it was the last couple of days of yeshiva, and Ezra Manis was talking to a group of guys in one of the apartments, and Ezra Manis said to us, he goes, look around at each other. Okay, you're right. Look to your left. It was so nonchalant. Like we weren't sitting. It wasn't night seder. It was none of that. Like it was just random. Just said it randomly. He's like, look to your right. Look to your left. Each one of you is your own individual person. There will never ever be another Jack Stepner. There'll never ever be another Ami Bloom or another Schiff or another, none of that. There's just going to be a Jacob, only Jacob Kislasi, only Avi Karakowski. That is it. Meaning, and he said, like, what does that mean? That means you need to live your life your way. You're not going to be able to live it again. Live in the presence. Live in the presence.
Live in the presence.
And be you. Be yourself.
And, Kalali, did you see the line from Shana Forever?
No.
Oh, it's a hidden line. I was having a conversation with a friend, and let me just get it. If you are you, then you always win. But if you're not you, then you live with regret. If we're always winning. We're always winning. It's unbelievable. Every second we're winning. But if we're trying to be someone outside of ourselves, then we're going to regret it at some point. It's a deep line. It's a deep line. Wow, Kalali, that was huge. Huge Torah. Anyone else have anything to share? Amala, Eliana, Moshe.
Jack, you have from the Tale of the Righteous, if you want to look on page 133 later, it says from Naphtali Refuge, it says that, talking about prophecy, leader says that prophecy is the future, but the rabbi sees the present. It's much harder to see the present than the future.
The prophet sees the future, and the rabbi sees the present. Wow. Wow. That's a Rav Shlomo line. Rav Shlomo says there's two types of prophecy. And that's exactly what you're saying. The one prophecy is seeing what is going to happen in 10 years. But the deepest prophecy is seeing what's happening right now. So it's
like standing, it's like he says, you could stand by come to the Kotel, but you could be there 1,000 years ago. You could still hear the crying from 1,000 years ago. You've seen the soldiers from Tishba, because you could be there, but you hear the crying from 1,000 of years ago. You could be there present, but it's like you've never been there before.
Wow. Wow. That's huge. What a Torah. What a Torah. Wow. 133. I'm going to mark that off. I'll mark it off. 1,000%. Right here, Tales of the Righteous.
You should also mark off. Where is it? I don't want to hold everyone. Yeah, 103. about Lech Lecha.
Rebs, these are like the biggest Torahs in the world.
Yeah.
Shmuel of Sakachev. Amazing. Anyone else have anything to add? Eliana, Moshe, whatever you want.
I'll be honest, because we're an honest chabura. I'm gonna say is not some of the like any of these great ideas that were given out to all of us today, that are very important for our avoda. But something just small, because that's what I think some of what Rabbeinu is trying to tell us in this Sicha. Right, when it brings down the Gemara from Shabbos of Yaakov that Yaakov was supposed to go down in Egypt in chains, it's very easy to look at this Sicha. And again, yeah, we get the bigger idea of being in the present, being in the moment, and fulfilling our duty while we're in the moment. But his proof of why that is so, and why he brings in a simple person, right? He says, "Afilo apachot shabechotim," even the simplest of simple can do it. And you think the next line he brings in the example saying Yaakov Avinu like eventually got somewhere. He was supposed to go and change, but because of his merits, he got to Egypt in his own way. But really, Yaakov is the perfect example for this, because he too is the example of Tmimus. He was an Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim, little Rebbe. I think there's actually a very niche point that the Rebbe is trying to make here, in that going with simplicity to these places is how we be in the presence. And as Judah Michel points out in his Sefer Baderech, in his way of Tmimus, under the letter of Tmimus, he says that being in the presence is being able to say to yourself, I'm just a simple Jew and I just want to do Hashem's will in this very place, if I'm allowed to. That's it. And it's Dafka through Yaakov that we learn that midah of Tmimus from. That he could have gone down in chains, but he said, like as a child says to himself, so joyfully, no, I'll go down, it's fine. With a little smirk. It says in Tehillim, V'ger Yaakov be'eretz Cham. It's touching on when Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim, he lived in the Eretz Cham. And Cham meaning like he lived in a place with his heart. And that's how we really go understand being in the present. Is one of the ways to being in the presence is going with Tmimut and saying, I might be a pachot, a simple Jew, but I might be the greatest Jew of all. All I know is I want to go there because that's where I want to go here. I want to be here. That's because that's where Hashem wants me to be.
I think you just brought it all together. I think you just brought it all together because it's also like the mindset of going, right? They're saying, okay, I'm supposed to be here, but it's like, how are we gonna, like, what's our thought process going, and where's our heart at? Wow, I need that a lot. I need that a lot. Because then you're able to be fully in the present with that tmimus.
Elul is a time of running. Elul is like Erev Shabbos. Elul is like Yom Kippur. You ever heard that? Elul is like Yom Kippur. What does that even mean? It's like Yom Kippur. Using the Chafa Dimyon, it's like Yom Kippur, you know? Hamevin Yavin. That's all.
Samson, Bezrat Hashem. We should all be healthy, happy, and successful. Fired up. Thank you for bringing it home, Samson. We'll continue tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem in the land with all of Am Yisrael and fired up.